There is a certain kind of person in every room who is never the loudest, yet somehow ends up controlling everything. Nobody interrupts them twice. Nobody tests them twice. Nobody disrespects them twice. They never beg to be taken seriously. They never explain themselves into a corner. And somehow, everyone around them adjusts. Today you're going to learn the 5 lines this kind of person uses instinctively, lines built from the mind of the most misunderstood strategist in history, Niccolò Machiavelli. Not the cartoon villain version people throw around at parties. The real one. The Florentine diplomat who watched republics collapse, watched honest men get devoured by dishonest ones, and decided to write down, without flinching, how power actually moves through a room. Stay to the end, because the 5th line is the one Machiavelli considered the whole game. By the time we get there, you'll understand why he's still quoted 500 years after his death, and why almost everyone quoting him has never actually read a word he wrote. Ask yourself something. When was the last time someone tried to make you small in front of others? A co-worker who talked over you? A partner who found the one sentence built to wound? A stranger online who decided, for sport, that you were today's target? What did you do? Most people do one of 2 things. They shrink, smile, absorb it, carry the sting home like a stone in their pocket. Or they detonate, raise their voice, say the thing they'll regret, and hand the other person exactly what they wanted. Proof you can be shaken. Machiavelli would tell you both reactions lose. He spent his career studying princes, republics, mercenaries, and conspiracies. And he arrived at a conclusion most people still refuse to accept. Power is never given to the person who begs for it loudest. It is taken quietly, by the person who understands appearances better than everyone else in the room. Machiavelli was not writing a book of cruelty. He was writing a book of clear sight. He got fired, imprisoned, tortured on the rack by the very government he'd served, accused of conspiracy he likely had no part in, and still, from a small farmhouse outside Florence, stripped of every title he'd once held, he sat down at night and wrote the most honest manual on human behavior the Western world has ever produced. He wasn't writing for glory. He was broke and desperate to be useful to someone again. And in that stripped-down state, with nothing left to protect, he told the truth about power more plainly than anyone before him. The most brutally honest book about influence in Western history was written by a man with nothing left to lose. So here are 5 lines, drawn from that same cold clarity, that you can use the next time someone tries to push you around, corner you, or test how far they can go. These are not insults. Machiavelli despised cheap theatrics. A win that costs you your composure isn't a win, it's a confession that you are rattled. Every line below works because it comes from someone who has already decided their footing before the confrontation even starts. Line 1, interesting that you think so. Picture the Florence of 1513. Machiavelli has just lost everything: his post, his reputation, his freedom for a while. Rivals are openly mocking him. He could have written pages defending himself. Instead, in his letters you find something colder and far more useful. An obsession with how things appear rather than how they are, because in his world, perception decided who survived and who didn't. From that obsession comes line 1. Someone challenges you, undercuts you in a meeting, says, "Honestly, I think what you're doing is a little naive." The untrained version of you gets hot in the face, over-explains, maybe even attacks back, and now you're the one who looks unsteady in front of everyone. The Machiavellian version simply says, "Interesting that you think so," then continues exactly where they left off. Notice what just happened. You didn't fight for permission to be taken seriously, you assumed it. You treated their jab as data about them, not a verdict on you. Machiavelli understood that reputation is built less by what is true and more by what people are allowed to see rattle you. The moment you refuse to react, you take back the pen. You're now the one writing the story of what just happened in that room, not them. There's a detail from his life that captures this perfectly. After he lost his government post, men who once begged him for favors stopped answering his letters. People who called him brilliant started calling him irrelevant behind closed doors. Instead of chasing every rumor down to correct it, he did something almost nobody has the discipline to do: let the noise exist without dignifying it. And put that same energy into writing something so good it would outlive everyone mocking him. That's the real lesson buried in interesting that you think so. It's not just a clever line for a meeting. It's a decision about where your energy goes into managing what other people think, or into becoming undeniable regardless of what they think. Line 2 noted. Moving on. Now picture a different Machiavelli, the tactician, not the exile. The man who studied Cesare Borgia up close and admired, above almost everything, his refusal to let opposition slow him down. Borgia didn't out-argue his enemies. He simply kept moving while they were still talking. That gives us line 2, and it's built for the moment someone tries to derail you with their anger. You're presenting an idea. Someone cuts in loudly. This is a waste of time, we already tried this. Most people either freeze and lose the floor, or snap back and turn the room into a battlefield. The Machiavellian response, noted. Moving on, said flatly, without malice, and then you simply continue. You haven't dismissed them. You haven't fought them. You've just refused to let one person's emotional outburst hijack the direction of the conversation. Machiavelli wrote that a leader who is too easily moved by every objection will never finish anything, and a leader who reacts to every objection with fury will be feared for the wrong reasons. The study middle acknowledge, then proceed is what actually earns loyalty in a room. He watched this play out with the mercenary armies Florence relied on. Hired soldiers who fought only for a paycheck would hesitate and argue the moment things got difficult, and entire campaigns collapsed because of it. His conclusion was blunt: people who stop the moment they're challenged were never really committed to the outcome, just to their own comfort. He wanted people who expected resistance the way you expect weather. Nobody stops walking because it started raining. You just keep walking, slightly less dry, still heading exactly where you were going. That's noted, moving on in its fullest form. It's not coldness toward the person objecting. It's simply the refusal to let their timing dictate your outcome. Line 3, I see exactly what that was. Here's where Machiavelli gets genuinely underrated, because most people think of him only as a man of open war. He was actually far more obsessed with the wars nobody sees: the quiet maneuvering, the smiling betrayal, the compliment with a blade folded inside it. He warned, again and again, that the most dangerous move is rarely the loud one. It's the one dressed up as a joke, a favor, or a coincidence. Which brings us to line 3. For the disrespect that hides behind plausible deniability, the backhanded compliment. The friend who jokes about you in front of others so that if you react, you're the dramatic one. The colleague who forgets to loop you in, repeatedly in a way that's clearly not forgetting. This tactic survives on one thing: only you not naming it. So you name it. Calmly, with maybe even a small smile. I see exactly what that was. No accusation, no demand for an apology, no scene, just a mirror held up for 1 second. Machiavelli believed that most manipulators need the fog of ambiguity to operate. The instant you show them, you can see clearly through it. Their entire strategy collapses because their power depended on you being confused, not on you being wrong. He'd seen this at the highest level, watching the diplomacy between Florence, the papacy, France, and Spain, smiling alliances that meant almost nothing. Treaties signed with one hand while the other planned the betrayal. His job was to sit in rooms with powerful men and figure out which smiles were real. That scales down perfectly to a family dinner table or an office hallway. The people most committed to keeping you confused usually have the least real standing to challenge you directly. If they could win the argument honestly, they would. Wrapping it in a joke or a just saying tells you exactly how confident they actually are. Naming it calmly doesn't start a war. It ends one before it starts, because you've just told them the one thing they were counting on you never figuring out, that you can see them clearly. Line 4, I don't answer to that. Now for something almost nobody talks about: the respect you lose, not because of what others do to you, but because of what you volunteer to explain. Machiavelli was fiercely protective of a prince's autonomy. The idea that a ruler who constantly justifies every decision to people who have no real claim on him slowly hands away his own authority, one explanation at a time. You do this too, probably daily, without noticing. Someone asks a nosy question with judgment folded into it: why aren't you married yet? Don't you think it's time? And instead of a clean answer, you give a 3-minute defense nobody actually asked for. Every extra sentence is a small surrender, the Machiavellian version, delivered without heat. I don't answer to that. Or, softer if you want it. That's not really open for discussion. This isn't for people who've genuinely earned honesty from you: a partner, a close friend, an actual manager with a fair question. This is for the people who've appointed themselves your judge without ever being asked. Machiavelli's core insight here is brutal, but useful. Authority you don't defend, you don't really have. Every time you justify yourself to someone with no standing over you, you're quietly telling them they do have standing. Stop handing it out for free. He noticed something about the princes who lost their thrones fastest. They tried hardest to be liked by everyone, constantly re-explaining unpopular decisions, hoping enough justification would win people over. It rarely did. It just made them look unsure, and people follow certainty, not apology. This isn't about refusing accountability where it's actually owed. It's about being precise on who gets to ask. A partner asking about a decision that affects your shared life deserves a full answer. A distant acquaintance who's decided your life choices are their business does not. And every minute defending yourself to them legitimizes a courtroom they built without your consent. I don't answer to that isn't a wall. It's a filter deciding in advance whose opinion gets a hearing and whose doesn't. Line 5, then that's a problem for them, not for me. And now, the line underneath all the other lines. Because every phrase we've covered so far can still fail you if this one isn't already true inside you first. You can deliver interesting that you think so with a perfectly steady voice and still go home and replay the whole thing for 3 hours. The words are not the armor. They're just the visible edge of it. Machiavelli's harshest, most quoted line is usually stripped of its actual context, that it's safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. People treat it as cynicism. It isn't. It's a statement about where your security should actually live, not in other people's approval, which you cannot control, but in your own competence and composure, which you can. He watched princes destroy themselves chasing popularity, bending their decisions to whatever the crowd wanted that week, only to be discarded the moment the crowd's mood changed. The ones who lasted were the ones who stopped outsourcing their self-worth to public opinion in the first place. Machiavelli himself lived this the hard way. After exile, he described his days spent in plain clothes doing menial work on a small piece of land, then changing into his old formal robes each evening, just to sit alone and write. As if the robes let him step back, for a few hours, into a world that had discarded him. Most people would have read that rejection as proof they weren't good enough. He read it as proof the men who discarded him were short-sighted and kept writing anyway, certain the work had value whether the people currently in power recognized it or not. He was right. Those men are footnotes now. He is not. That's the entire spirit behind line 5. Someone dismisses something you worked hard on, publicly, maybe cruelly. This is amateur. I don't know why you bothered. The sting isn't really the sentence. It's the fear underneath it that maybe they're right. But you don't control how your effort lands in someone else's head. You only control whether the effort itself was honest. So, then that's a problem for them, not for me. Not denial, not arrogance, just a refusal to let someone else's limited perception become the final verdict on your value. Let's put all 5 back together, because repetition is how a lesson actually sticks instead of just sounding good for 20 minutes. Interesting that you think so. Guards your composure the way Machiavelli guarded his reputation in exile. Noted, moving on. Guards your momentum the way Borgia refused to be slowed by every objection thrown at him. I see exactly what that was. Cuts through hidden manipulation the way Machiavelli learned to read Florence's endless quiet betrayals. I don't answer to that. Protects your authority, because explained away power is power you're actively giving up. Then that's a problem for them, not for me. The foundation underneath all 4. The settled understanding that your worth was never a vote other people got to cast. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to make people cruel. He wrote it because he'd watched too many decent, honest men get crushed by people who understood power and they didn't. He wanted the honest ones armed too. That's really the whole point of studying him at all. Not to become someone colder, not to become someone who manipulates for sport, but to stop being the last person in the room, to notice when the game is already being played on you. You don't need to raise your voice to be respected. You never did. You just needed to stop handing your composure to people who never earned it and start writing your own reputation, the way a broke, exiled, thoroughly underestimated Florentine writer once sat down and did. With nothing but a pen and a clear, unflinching read on how people actually work. Which of these 5 lines are you using first? Not the one that sounds the coolest, the one you actually need this week. Say it in the comments. I read every one of them, and this channel exists entirely because of that conversation. If this gave you even one line you're going to carry into a room you've been dreading, hit like before you go. It costs you nothing. And it tells the algorithm to put this in front of someone else who needs to hear it exactly as much as you did today.